Thank you so much, Congresswoman Strickland, for your invitation to be here, for your leadership in the Congress on so many subjects, and for your kind introduction. It's an honor to be here with you, with Chairman Sturd. I thought you were going to do a prayer, so I'm taking the words that you said earlier as a prayer.
Yeah.
That was beautiful because he called us to action and established values and priorities in his comments. Willie Frank III, thank you so much for this. And can you imagine how exciting it's going to be to have a statue to his father in the capital of the United States? It's going to be so great. Thank you to the state of Washington for making that possible, because you decide who represents you in the Congress, but also in the Statuary Hall. Don Anderson, thank you so much for making this bipartisan. The bill is bipartisan. It's the bipartisan infrastructure bill. Thank you for making the implementation of it and the acknowledgement of it bipartisan as well today. Representative Kilmer, well, I'll talk more about about them, but thank you for your relentless, persistent, dissatisfied, and constant advocacy for Puget Sound, and I know that you and Congresswoman Strickland are the co-chairs of the Puget Sound. We'll talk more as we go forward on that. Here's the thing, though, that I was keeping it with me. I want you to know I have my fish, too, that I received last night, right, from
Tulalip.
Yeah,
The Tulalip tribe. Tulalip
last
tribe.
night, yes.
Yep.
So here's the thing. When we have long overdue for a long time needed an infrastructure bill. The fact that it's bipartisan is so positive for us because it's always been bipartisan. Over time, forever when we did an infrastructure bill, it was always bipartisan. So with President Biden's leadership to say we're going big with this bill. Now, he had in his value system of all of this that it would have environmental justice and respect for indigenous rights and all the rest as part of the bill. He has a 40% justice piece in the bill, so that people who are concerned about all the infrastructure they built before divided my neighborhood, we're still living with the concept. We said, no, that's not what this is. This is not about dividing. This is about uniting. This is about uniting. And, well, I might just want to say that in terms of the state of Washington, the bill is very appropriately generous. $5.3 billion to fix roads and bridges, some of which will be part of this. $1.9 billion to upgrade public transit. $71 million for electric vehicle charging stations. Again, the bigger bill has $13 billion to help tribal communities. Now, let me just say, when we said we were going to do an infrastructure bill, we said to Indian country, we want you at this table on the very first day. We don't want to present you with something and say, what do you think of this? And, oh, it's too late to make any changes. We needed them to be there the very first day because they have been keepers of the land, whether it's water rights or whatever, or sacred grounds or all the rest. We wanted to be in front of all of that when we wrote the bill. So it's no coincidence that you are here, both of your tribes, here today telling us the story of the history of it all and how it will be enhanced as we go forward. But I do have to salute President Biden for insisting from the start that that would be the way we would go down this path. So again, we talk about the natural beauty of the South Sound. We talk about Chamber Creek. I know it has a more official name, but Chambers Creek. And it's really very exciting to be here. I mean, I'm 11 hours ahead of you all, or behind, I'm not sure which, but it's 11 hours difference. But I couldn't be more honored than to see us right here in this beautiful, beautiful place of nature with this family. Thank you to the family for what you have, the Beller family, for gifting the dam to the local environmental groups. For Tara here? Just see for Tara? And thank you so much. So it's public, it's private, it's nonpartisan, it's bipartisan, and the rest. It's very, very important. And you know, you're a model to the country. A model to the country. So let me praise Derek Kilmer. He's chair of the Modernization Committee. He had this idea that Congress should be modernized, and he's the chair of the committee that we established to do just that. Gives him a seat at the chair's table. Very, very respected in the Congress. And as I said, as we know, alongside Representative the Puget Sound Recovery Caucus. And again, he's on the Appropriations Committee. We call it the almighty powerful Appropriations Committee, on the Environmental Subcommittee that has so much to do with all of this. And again, to Chairman Estero, thank you for reminding us of the history, the heritage, and the sanctity of this land. Chairman Willie Frank, thank you for highlighting the human and cultural aspects at stake in this fight. And again, we look forward to welcoming your father to the Capitol and as many friends. Council Member Don Anderson, thank you for bringing the spirit of bipartisanship to this important occasion. This remarkable backdrop reminds us of America's collective obligation to care for nature's life-giving wonders. The health and livelihood of working families depend on good stewardship. That is why we're so pleased that in the infrastructure bill, we have Davis-Bacon so that we have good paying jobs to our friends in labor. Thank you for that. Again, there is $1 billion that was referenced by Derek Kilmer, but $1 billion to cure culvert blockages and restore fish passage. That came from you all. You saw that need and that we had to commit those resources. And again, $172 billion to conserve Pacific salmon and $89 million to protect Puget Sound. Now, that may not sound like $89 million. We are scrambling for money for San Francisco Bay. Chesapeake Bay, how did this all happen? Puget Sound is leading the way in how to use federal dollars to preserve the critical habitats, build a stronger, cleaner infrastructure, and the rest. And it is, infrastructure is about health. It's about clean air and clean water by, what did I say, transit systems, $1.9 billion to upset transit. Cleaner air for our children to breathe. Cleaner water, getting the lead out across the country. Cleaner water for our children to drink. So it's a health issue. It's an environmental issue, of course, as we do so in an environmentally sound way. It's a commercial issue. How we get product to market, to and from market in a way that promotes commerce. It promotes commerce. And for us, it's a values issue as well, because all of this is to help us preserve the planet as we fight the climate crisis, and Washington State has been so in the lead in all of that. It's a quality of life that parents taking their children to school, or people going to work, and the rest are in the car less, or maybe taking public transit more. But whatever it is, it's saving time for families. So it's a quality of life issue. It's very, very important. The first infrastructure bill was introduced by President Thomas Jefferson over 200 years ago. It was to build the infrastructure, the Erie Canal, Cumberland Road, to build into the new country, the Louisiana Purchase, the Lewis and Clark expedition. 100 years later, in honor of the 100th year anniversary, Teddy Roosevelt did his infrastructure bill. It was called the National Park Service, establishing that in a way and recognizing that this infrastructure bill combines all of that and takes us beautifully in the future, again, with environmental justice, with commercial success, with respect for the cultural heritage of it all. So I think you've captured it all right here today. It's exciting to be here with it, with all of you as we do this. And it's now my privilege again to yield back to a respected voice in that, the former mayor, and there are mayors here today, are there? Mayors, thank you for being here. Okay. My father was mayor and my brother was mayor of Baltimore, so I'm partial to mayors because I know that's how you get work done. And she's been a tireless advocate right from the start, effective from the start in this regard. And here we are to celebrate this magnificent achievement, but also the great leadership of Congresswoman Strickland and Congressman Kilmer, as well as Maria Cantwell, and all of your congressional delegation. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to be with you. Thank you.